Welcome to Barbecue Radio Network, America's premier barbecue radio show. Join your host, two-time world champion, Andy Groneman and friends, as they sink their teeth into the finest grilling, smoking, and barbecue from coast to coast with the industry's leading pitmasters. Stay tuned for great tips, techniques, and products that will enhance your backyard experience by being a part of the Barbecue Radio Network.
Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Barbecue Radio Network, where we up your barbecue with the help from legends in the barbecue world. I'm your host, Andy G., along with our executive producer, T-Bone, and my co-host, whose barbecue nachos were voted to the National Must-Have Barbecue Bucket List in Inc. magazine, and his award-winning burn-ins aren't the only thing that's saucy, Todd Johns.
Hey, I think the nachos are actually going to the Smithsonian. I just got a memo this week, so... that'll be good.
I had 3 chips that were left under the patio table.
Were they good?
Yeah, I could have you sign them.
Oh, yeah, I could, like I did the Stephen Reichlin book.
Exactly. You could that'd make them worth more, though, for the Smithsonian.
Absolutely. Who are we talking to today, Andy?
So, I'm super excited.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, we've got a new guest
today. Get back on track, dude.
Yeah, fine. You call me out for being a squirrel. We are excited to have a new guest today, and he's what I call a barbecue OG, really anything outdoor cooking. He started cooking tailgates in the late 80s. He jumped into competition barbecue in the late 90s, and after Memphis in May, he's gone through pretty much everything related to outdoor and live fire cooking. He is the pitmaster and owner of Bare Knuckles Barbecue, has gone to hundreds of contests, global barbecue travel under his belt, and he is a guest cook at the Jack Daniel's World Invitational, where he cooks for all the competing champions up on Barbecue Hill for their kickoff party. You've probably seen him on Barbecue Pitmasters, the Travel Channel's American Grilled, or Food Network's Chopped Grilled Masters. Big Jim Stansel is going to be joining us today, and I can't wait.
I love Jim. He is just one of the best barbecue personalities there is. He's so approachable, so, humble. But this guy knows how to cook everything. And he has cooked everything. And he's cooked for all kinds of people. And like you said, he's just had decades of a career doing this. I love talking to Jim. I can't wait to get him on here.
Yeah, I mean, he really is what I would call a barbecue ambassador, because he'll talk to anybody that is interested about what he's doing, how he does it. He doesn't have a secret. Just an amazing
he's 6'8", first of all. He's 6'8". He really is. And so but his personality is like 7'2".
Yeah.
And so you get all of Jim. He's such a memorable guy, and he's half the show when he's catering.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then when we get done with Jim, we're going to talk in our 4th segment with Todd and expand on what we were talking about last week. Last week we were talking about smoked ingredients. And we hit on a couple of things there, a couple of ingredients you can try, but we want to go a little deeper on that and then talk about the how. How are you going to smoke those? What about cold smoking cheeses and salts and all those things? It's kind of, we were talking ingredients with Sterling, and then we got into that. We want to go a little deeper on that because we think it's going to make your game a lot better. But now it's time for our Ask Andy segment, which is brought to you this month by Smoke on Wheels Barbecue Marinade, which you can get, of course, at All Things Barbecue over at atbbq.com. And don't forget, you'll get yourself a Barbecue Radio Network t-shirt if we use your question. And how many barbecue Bibles do we have left, T-Bone?
We're down to single digits.
All right. So you're still going to get a signed Barbecue Bible from Stephen Reichlin. He signed copies and provided those to us to celebrate the 25th anniversary. We're going to not let Todd sign the back cover of this one, but that's okay.
Oh, man. I had my pen already, had my Sharpie all ready to go.
Oh, man, I know. It's tough. So what do you got for us, T-Bone?
Billy Holland, who is in Georgia. Thanks, guys, for taking my question. My competition barbecue team, the Q Crew, have competed in 8 backyard events in the past year, have got calls in all but one. Do you think we should give a pro event a shot and see where we stand? I am a member of the Georgia Barbecue Association, but have not competed in a pro event yet. Thanks again. Love the show.
All right. Well, so that's an interesting question. And part of the reason is because most of the backyard events are a 2-category event. It's usually ribs and chicken. And they do that so that you can get your feet wet in the format of I'm showing up, I'm setting up, I'm cooking, I turn into judges, and then I get a score and I pack up and leave, right? So it's to get somebody wet in that, but committing to, and I hate the term pro event. You can call it like a Masters series or something, but everybody that's doing this, or 95% of the people doing it, are hobbyists. So it's not like you're going to be, when you hear pro event, you might think you're going to be up against all professional chefs and James Beard Award winners and whatever, or
people that are being paid to do it, right?
Yes, or people that are being
when paid. I hear pro, I think they're being compensated, and they're not. They're just operating at a different level, and like you said, the 4 categories, the bigger meets, the bigger commitment. So yeah, I think pro's kind of a misnomer.
Yeah, so you've got essentially, for your question there, if you want to step into a full contest or a KCBS type contest, I'm all for it. Go for that. Just the understanding that you need to have is you'll be cooking 4 meats. 2 of them are a longer cook. So you're committing more time. You're committing basically 2 days instead of a day. And you're probably doubling your cost in terms of the proteins you got to buy to cook the event. And then you got your entry fees and stuff. Now, lots of local businesses and things will help you with a little gas money or help you with some of your meat costs to throw a banner up and things like that. So, you can get some assistance too.
Yeah, give them some leftovers. You're going to cook probably a couple briskets and a couple pork butts, so give them some leftovers when you're done. They might throw you a little cash for that too to help offset that.
So, but yeah, definitely jump in. If you're interested in competing, there's no reason not to compete. And that's the best way to learn too, by the way, is to get out and do it. And I'd say even if you were thinking of doing a class or something like that, go ahead and compete several times before you do that, because then you'll have an idea of the things that you're going to really want to hone in on in the class.
Hey, and if you haven't judged a pro competition, if you haven't judged one of those, go take a judging class and find out kind of what the criteria is, and go taste the food. I mean, judging is a great opportunity for cooks to get a chance to see what other people are turning in.
Yeah, and you'll also get to see that, there's a reason that some of the same people's names get called over time. Number one, they're out there doing it a lot, so the frequency of their cooks, they've got it down. But in general, you're going to taste some good stuff when you judge, and you're going to taste some bad stuff. So you'll get a good idea for what is floating around out there and what your own palate likes. So another good thing you could do, though, is you could also go to a regular barbecue contest. Just check it out, see what's going on there, and find a team that might be willing to mentor you. I know at the contests that I go to, they are always at the cooks team meetings. Usually the KCBS rep will say something to the effect of, are there any new teams here? Is anybody willing to help or mentor a team? There's always some of that going on, so you could find a team potentially that you could tag along with.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how we met, Andy, and look how far you've come with my mentoring that I gave you years ago.
Yeah, right. That's what it is.
So Andy was your intern?
Yeah. Andy's more of a disciple, I think. Great point. And my advice would be, if someone does allow you to come under their tent and cook with them, understand that they're there for that, and they're gonna give you tips and show you some things, but be respectful that this is what they're there for. And sometimes you let people into your tent and it's like 1,000 questions, and just understand.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're playing nice there. So next segment, we're going to be talking with Big Jim Stansel, pitmaster, barbecue ambassador, and owner of Bare Knuckles Barbecue. Check out his website, bareknucklesbarbecue.com. Coming up, it's Big Jim Stansel right here on Barbecue Radio Network.
Build a grill, Holstein Manufacturing. you have a better recipe for when you grill. Better ingredients, better cuts of meat, and because you're using a grill from Holstein Manufacturing, well, a better grill. You take grilling seriously, and at Holstein Manufacturing, we make a serious grill. Find your new grill now at HolsteinMFG.com.
We build a grill, Holstein Manufacturing.
Holstein Manufacturing, we build the grill.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
3 tours driving Humvees in Afghanistan.
6 years treating soldiers.
12 years flying choppers.
When my sister came back from her last tour in Afghanistan, she didn't want to talk about it, but she knew I was there to listen.
My son saved lives as a medic in the military, and I always remind him how much his service meant to our country.
Sometimes my husband still has difficult memories. They can be overwhelming. With the Veterans Crisis Line, I know where to turn when we need support.
I made the call and got support for my sister.
I called because I was concerned about my son. We got him connected to care, and it's made a difference.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for all veterans and their loved ones. Call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 or chat online at veteranscrisisline.net.
Jewelry repair, maintenance, and custom crafting of jewelry pieces is at the forefront of our mission at Diamond Art Jewelry. Hi, I'm the owner, Dustin Rhodes, and I like to correlate jewelry maintenance to vehicle maintenance. When your car is new, an oil change and occasional wash are about all you need. But as your vehicle gets older, it often needs a tune-up and alignment to keep it running smoothly. It's the same for jewelry. A light polish and steam will get newer jewelry back to glowing, but as it gets a little older, it might need a little more care. And that's where we come in. Our bench jeweler has over 30 years of experience and will ensure your prized possession looks and wears like new. At Diamond Art Jewelry, we use the best equipment, skilled local craftsmanship, and quality materials with an average 2-day turnaround on repair work. And just like my 94 F-150, bringing those pieces passed down through generations back to life might be the most satisfying part of our jobs. Trust my staff at Diamond Art Jewelry for your next tune-up or alignment, and let's get that jewelry noticed again. Diamond Art Jewelry, online at diamondkansas.com or stop by 807 Main Street in beautiful downtown Hayes.
Mom, I broke my iPhone screen.
Don't worry, Brandon. I can take it to Bauer Computers and have it fixed.
Cornpop was a bad dude.
What are you mumbling about?
Nothing. I said they really can do anything at Bauer Computers.
All right, let's go, Brandon. You're going to be late.
We're the tech-savvy folks at Jackson and 10th. Bauer Computers, we make it make sense.
If you're a farmer or rancher, chances are you've thought about joining Kansas Farm Bureau. So what's stopping you? Your membership means you have a seat at the table when it comes to the issues that affect your farm. Things like trade, taxes, water, and regulations. The state's largest farm advocacy organization brings your message to policy decision makers at the county, state, and national level. The voice of agriculture becomes your voice and fights for Kansas farmers and ranchers. And a Kansas Farm Bureau membership includes other benefits. For about $50 a year, you'll receive discounts on equipment and supplies, cell phone plans, financial and legal support, home and office supplies, and more. You'll also receive Kansas Living, a quarterly lifestyle magazine featuring real stories of farmers and producers around the state, plus great recipes, crafts, and things to see and do in Kansas. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/farmer-rancher to learn more.
CarZone at 13th and Vine has been serving the Hayes area for over 20 years. CarZone cares about the people of our community and wants to provide the right vehicle to fit your needs. Whether you have good credit, bad credit, or no credit, it's no problem. Contact Greg or Alex at CarZone to help you with a fast, easy credit approval. 0 down with most trades and payments you can afford for a vehicle you can trust.
The
can't trust your farming operation to just anyone. You want someone locally that knows the area, your name, and is just a phone call away. That's why farmers in the Healy, Scott, Oakley, and Gove areas trust Smoky Hill Ag for their dry and liquid fertilizer applications, chemical application, seed sales, chemical and fertilizer sales, and much more. We are locally family-owned business and give the small town service to our entire coverage area. Smoky Hill Ag, serving the local farmers in Lane, Scott, Gove, Thomas, and Logan counties.
American Top 40 with Ryan Seacrest. Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Check out American Top 40 this Saturday, 11 a.m. here on Hayes and Great Bend's #1 hit music station, KISS 104.7.
Video marketing has taken the online world by storm, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. In today's competitive market, it's more important than ever for businesses to stand out from the crowd. Brand awareness is a key factor in customer decision-making, and video is an increasingly popular and effective way to increase brand awareness. Let our experts at MyTown Media tell your business's story in a visually appealing way with our videography services. Contact your local marketing consultant today for more information.
Award-winning Barbecue Radio Network. I'm Andy G, along with executive producer T-Bone and my co-host Plowboy's own Todd Johns. And we've got a new guest this week. And as I said last segment, he is an OG. He was doing tailgates in the 80s and every kind of live fire event you can think of in the 90s after his first run at Memphis in May. He's cooked a couple hundred contests, hundreds of events. You've seen him on Barbecue Pit Masters. You've seen him on American Grilled, Food Network's Chopped Grill Masters. He's the owner of Bare Knuckles Barbecue. Welcome, Big Jim Stansel, to the show. What's going on, Jim?
Hey, well, I don't even know how to respond to all that foolishness and stuff, man. Holy crap. Now I really feel old now. So, no, man, I'm happy to be here talking to you guys. I mean, I've known both of you guys for a long time, and I've done events with both of you at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, multiples.
And speaking of events, we were just talking about you don't ever take a break. You've had more NFL cooks scheduled and going than, we were at the draft, but you had a draft party, you got Jets parties coming. Tell me a little bit about the cooks coming up.
Well, I just got friends with a lot of these folks. And so what happens is the NFL really does stand for not for long. And these guys get shipped off to another place or they do whatever. And so the difference is they become like us. They're regular people. They just work really hard at what they do. And so they call me and say, hey, man, come up here. We're going to feed these guys. And so either get in a truck or on a plane or do whatever. And so it becomes this dance because y'all know this. Y'all are football people, too. So there's a certain amount of time between when OTAs and camp and all that starts and then the season and all. And so what they do is there's only a limited amount of days. And so it keeps me really busy in those short time spans, late May, early June, middle of June, and then it goes into August and then the season starts. And so it's a tough business for me too, but man, it's a lot of fun. You get to just do what you do, and the guys and the folks and the fellas are all really appreciative. They don't get to eat like that every day, and they don't get to cut up with people, that are we just ride around and cook stuff. So they love the fact of that because they all love to grill and cook.
So when you're preparing a menu for an O-line or just the whole team or whatever, what are some of the things on that? And do you just plan 5 pounds a person or what?
Well, what happens a lot of times is when you're doing coaches and staff members and stuff, it's a different kind of group. They eat a little more reserved than the O-line. But if you're doing the O-line, you're automatically thinking big meat. You're thinking protein. Is your primary objective. Very rarely do we throw any mac and cheese and stuff in there. Mostly, we do skirt steak tacos. I'll make all the condiments, the salsas, everything to go with it, and then I'll make a crazy dessert out of, something that's high carb and peanut butter pie, something like that. Or I'll make cinnamon rolls and then I'll make the cream cheese icing for them. And I'll make little, Megan did that thing on the show where they call it monkey bread or whatever. She made it in a can.
Yeah, Megan Day from Burnt Finger, yeah.
Right. So I make that, but I make it in a larger version.
Everybody gets a can.
Is it called?
Everybody gets a quarter of a pan anyways, because, you're using biscuit dough and stuff, so you cut them up. They're the size of a golf ball by the time they cook and
so instead of monkey bread, it's gorilla bread or something like that.
It's gorilla bread,
King
man,
Kong
because
bread.
they eat. And I'll make 2 quarts of cream cheese icing. 2 quarts, and these dudes they go to town on it, man. They don't. Sometimes I'll make a Jack caramel sauce or something like that to drizzle over them, and but they love that somebody made it kind of thing. And I feel like whatever we do and whatever I've always done is, if you make it, I don't care. Even if it's always going to be better than something that you buy in a container and pop open and dump in a bowl. You know what I mean? There's just no comparison. It's the prep. It's all the things you need to do to make it taste better. So
and it's so funny you mentioned that, because we were talking with Smitty on the last episode about just flavors in general and how making your own sauces is a game changer. It totally brings it to a whole different level. And it can be the most simple sauce you can think of. Just a chimichurri or a gremolata or anything. If you make it from scratch, it just makes a huge difference.
And this is why Jim takes like 3-4 days to prep for a catering, because he is doing everything from scratch.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, if I make a teriyaki sauce, for example, or a glaze, it's not like a regular teriyaki, because I'm chopping up whole fingers of ginger and putting them in a pot with some soy and some brown sugar and some garlic and some white pepper stuff, and then I'll cook that stuff down till it's a syrup, because you're just it tastes 100 times better. I mean, look, Kikkoman's makes great teriyaki sauce, and if I'm in a pinch and I'm somewhere and I can't make it, I will buy that. But for the most part, I'll make time to make those things, and that will taste better with less sugar than something that's just processed. Something that's processed, and like you said, if you make a chimichurri, man, you can't replicate cutting those herbs and mixing it up and throwing it together and then serving it later that day or the next day. You can't replicate that by buying that stuff in a jar. It just, I don't care who you are, it's just not the same.
Yeah, there's just no way to make it any like that. And
no.
So, but when you're not doing that kind of work, prepping for your events, when I'm out on Instagram, I'm looking at your cutting boards, man, and you have got some pretty darn amazing stuff going on there. I want you to talk a little bit about that. There's a couple pecan ones that were out there. I saw some pretty sweet epoxy in those things. Like, give me the rundown on the boards, man.
Well, thanks. Yeah. So what I try to do is, I try not to buy dimensional lumber. I try to reclaim or make the best use out of stuff that is already either being cut down, pushed down, or standing dead and cut up. Instead of just throwing it in a burn pile or putting it in the landfill, I try to use these things and give them a second chance. I get a lot of older type wood. Some of that wood you see in there on that pine and stuff, it's 200 plus years old. I mean, it's cut off of buildings built in the 1800s, and pine trees then, they just gathered them up from wherever the building was. I mean, they cut them down, they'd run the mules over there, pull them back, and so those trees sometimes took 100 years to get that size.
Yeah.
And they were doing I was watching some stuff the other day. They had some oak trees that they said must have been 200 or 300 years old when they put the houses up, the log or those frame houses and pole barns and stuff. And they said some of these trees could have been 200 or 300 years old. And then 150 years they've been standing in an A-frame barn or something,
Yep.
So
yeah, that's crazy. So, of course, we're talking with Big Jim Stansel. Check out his website, bareknucklesbbq.com. Follow him on social media with the handle @BBQBigJim. And when we get back here in just a little bit, we're going to pick his brain on going behind the scenes on spit roasted lamb. We're going to talk about what it looked like when he cooked that at the Jack? Because I still have, I wake up in a sweat sometimes in the night after eating some of that. So we're going to be talking more with Big Jim next, right here on Barbecue Radio Network.
Every pitmaster should start with the best beef and pork possible. That's why the top-rated barbecue restaurants from Texas to North Carolina choose Creekstone Farms premium Black Angus beef and all-natural Duroc heritage pork. Go to shop.creekstonefarms.com and get the same briskets, burgers, ribs, and steaks served around the country, delivered right to your door. Use promo code RADIO and get 10% off your entire order.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Jewelry repair, maintenance, and custom crafting of jewelry pieces is at the forefront of our mission at Diamond Art Jewelry. Hi, I'm the owner, Dustin Rhodes, and I like to correlate jewelry maintenance to vehicle maintenance. When your car is new, an oil change and occasional wash are about all you need. But as your vehicle gets older, it often needs a tune-up and alignment to keep it running smoothly. It's the same for jewelry. A light polish and steam will get newer jewelry back to glowing, but as it gets a little older, it might need a little more care. And that's where we come in. Our bench jeweler has over 30 years of experience and will ensure your prized possession looks and wears like new. At Diamond Art Jewelry, we use the best equipment, skilled local craftsmanship, and quality materials with an average 2-day turnaround on repair work. And just like my 94 F-150, bringing those pieces passed down through generations back to life might be the most satisfying part of our jobs. Trust my staff at Diamond Art Jewelry for your next tune-up or alignment, and let's get that jewelry noticed again. Diamond Art Jewelry, online at diamondkansas.com or stop by 807 Main Street in beautiful downtown Hayes.
Mom, I broke my iPhone screen.
Don't worry, Brandon. I can take it to Bauer Computers and have it fixed.
Cornpop was a bad dude.
What are you mumbling about?
Nothing. I said they really can do anything at Bauer Computers.
All right, let's go, Brandon. You're going to be late.
We're the tech-savvy folks at Jackson and 10th. Bauer Computers, we make it make sense.
This is BJ with Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service in Hayes, Kansas. Have you been looking for the perfect bike and can't find it? Come see us at 1007 Vine Street in Hayes. We sell pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles with financing starting as low as 2.9%. If you want the coolest motorcycle on the road, why wouldn't you buy it from the coolest in the business? Looking for OEM, aftermarket parts and accessories? Give us a call, 785-625-2022. Or Google us, Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service. Make the trip to Hayes and check us out.
I know you've got performance on your mind every time you grab that throttle to pull away. With tons of performance products ready to be bolted onto that trusted scoot you have chilling in your garage, Good Times Motorcycle is your one-stop shop for personalizing your 2- or 3-wheeled machine. We have service specials and performance packages for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Call us or stop by today. Good Times Motorcycle, Vine Street in Hayes.
You can't trust your farming operation to just anyone. You want someone locally that knows the area, your name, and is just a phone call away. That's why farmers in the Healy, Scott, Oakley, and Gove areas trust Smoky Hill Ag for their dry and liquid fertilizer applications, chemical application, seed sales, chemical and fertilizer sales, and much more. We are locally family-owned business and give the small town service to our entire coverage area. Smoky Hill Ag, serving the local farmers in Lane, Scott, Gove, Thomas, and Logan counties.
CarZone at 13th and Vine has been serving the Hayes area for over 20 years. CarZone cares about the people of our community and wants to provide the right vehicle to fit your needs. Whether you have good credit, bad credit, or no credit, it's no problem. Contact Greg or Alex at CarZone to help you with a fast, easy credit approval. 0 down with most trades and payments you can afford for a vehicle you can trust.
Saturday, June 10th, after Brews on the Bricks, the Fox Theater in Hayes presents Aaron Watson.
We're never going out of style. I was thinking while the sun is sinking low, we can go all night.
Aaron Watson.
My things
singing my song, right on track, I'm trucking along. I'm here and gone like yesterday, rolling like an old freight train.
Aaron Watson, Saturday, June 10th at the Fox. Tickets on sale now at Eventbrite Hayes.
KXNC, Nest City, Hayes, Great Bend. Blasting on your radio. Pounding through the doors from Barton Community College to Thomas More Prep. Thomas More Prep. Yo. Let's go. The area's most listened to radio station with at least 30 minutes of commercial-free jams every hour. Kiss 104.7.
My co-host, Pitmaster Extraordinaire Todd Johns, and our executive producer, T-Bone. I'm Andy G, and we are talking with Big Jim Stansel, owner of Bare Knuckles Barbecue, an amazing ambassador of barbecue, and I say that because he does act as a brand ambassador for brands like Royal Oak, Certified Angus Beef, but he is also an amazing ambassador to anyone that is interested in outdoor or live fire cooking. You know, you're going to eat well and have a great time at any event that he's a part of, and he really just loves to share that with you. So welcome back, Jim. And I want to dive right in and talk about, speaking about how, you engage that crowd and keep people going. Man, that spit roasted lamb is amazing. And when we had that up at Barbecue Hill on the Jack, it was magical back there in the corner where you were doing that. So tell us how that comes to pass. How do you make that happen?
We choke a lot of times. George, who was the owner of Primo Grills, and he's Greek. Everybody knows that if anybody knows George. And lamb is their deal, and he would say, we're going to do the lamb, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And so we would start putting it on the spit and roast it. And then the other stuff we would actually take pork butts and cut them up and just shove them on those spit rods and cut them as they turned. And everybody thinks, you got to cook that pork till it's like falling off or whatever. But realistically, as hot as that fire is underneath there on that spit, it's cooked in a few minutes, so you can constantly cut it. You see them cutting those vertical ones, euros and all that. Even the pastor tacos and stuff with the pineapples, and they cut them up. It's the same thing. 10 minutes or 5 minutes spinning around there, and it'll cook. And we just use really 3 or 4 ingredients. We use some olive oil, some garlic, and some oregano, a little pepper, and some salt, and that's it. And usually we made tzatziki from scratch, which I can tell you right now, if you have never made it from scratch and you eat it, it's night and day, same thing, doing the prep. But it just requires a little prep. You can make it in about 30 minutes, enough to feed hundreds of people if you just got the Greek yogurt and the sour cream and stuff. It works out really well. But yeah, it is a hot fire, and you just let that thing go, and you just grab a pan. Somebody holds a pan, you cut it off of there, and you just hold on, because I don't care how many gloves or how long your shirt sleeves are or what kind of muffin mitts you got on your hands, it's going to be hot, and you're going to lose all your hair. Part of it. That's the glamorous life we leave out there. Carving meat off of what the kids call live fire cooking these days.
If you ain't sooty and sweaty, you ain't cooking.
That's right. If a little bit of your sweat don't drop on that, it ain't gonna take it. You're in there cooking and working, and it's hot, and that sweat's dead in a second, because it's 1,1400 degrees right there. Man,